Ananda the ox was quite simply enormous. With muscles rippling under his frame and his huge curved horns, he was a fearsome sight in his village in Benares. Yet, the children didn't think twice before cuddling up to his massive head or stroking his broad back. One look at Ananda's gentle eyes, and you knew he wouldn't hurt a fly.
Ananda, 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 Ananda.
Billa, his owner, knew that too. He would sit in the sun, stretching his thin arms above his head, observing Ananda with pride. Who would have thought that such a tiny calf would become such a splendid creature? Yet, as the days went by, Ananda began to feel restless. Billa is so good to me, he thought. He has hardly any money, but he looks after me so well. What can I do to repay him? It took him some time to hit upon the perfect plan. And though it was quite late, he rushed over to Billa's hut and poked his gigantic head through the door. "Are you feeling all right?" demanded Billa anxiously. "Is there a problem?" "I want to help you," said Ananda, coming straight to the point. "And I only have my strength to offer. But I have a plan. You must go to town tomorrow, find a rich merchant, and bet him 1,000 silver pieces that your ox can pull 100 cartloads of boulders, gravel, and stones, all at once." Billa frowned. "Are you crazy? That's impossible. 100 carts full of stones and rocks? Do you want everyone to laugh at me?" "Don't you trust me?" asked Ananda sharply. "Have I ever let you down in all these years?" Billa had to admit that his faithful ox had never let him down. "Well then," said Ananda calmly, "just do as I say." The next morning, Billa set off to town, quite unsure about his task. At the market, he dove into a familiar shop and looked around. A well-dressed merchant sat in a corner, talking loudly and waving his hands. The rings on his fingers sparkled. Well, here was a rich merchant, all right, Billa thought. He took a few deep breaths and approached the man. May I join you?" Billa asked. The merchant nodded his head vaguely, so Billa sat down and waited. Then Billa said, "I have a very strong ox." The merchant paused. So, my ox is the strongest in this land. He's so strong that he can pull 100 carts loaded with boulders, gravel, and stone." The merchant snorted. "That's impossible." "Why don't we lay a wager?" went on Billa bravely. "What about 1,000 silver pieces?" The merchant looked surprised. "All right," he said. "Bring your ox to the town square tomorrow morning. But remember," and he wagged a threatening finger, "if he can't do as you say, you have to give me 1,000 silver pieces." Billa nodded and walked as fast as he could back to his village. Once there, he told Ananda that the deal was fixed, and the ox sighed with satisfaction. Now, at last, he could repay his master. And so, while Billa spent the night worrying about the task that awaited his ox, Ananda dreamt of a wealthy Billa living in a magnificent house, surrounded by luxuries. The next morning, Billa could hardly swallow his frugal breakfast. He sat, frowning, at the doorway of his hut. When Ananda lumbered over to him, Billa squirmed away. The ox regarded his master with patient eyes. "Don't worry," he said. "Just trust me." Billa did not know whether to feel worried or annoyed. He sighed and got to his feet, preparing himself for the long walk to town. As they approached the town square, they heard the noise. Cheering, clapping, singing and shouting. Word had travelled quickly about Ananda, and the entire town had come to witness Ananda's strength. Billa took one look at the eager crowd and at the 100 loaded carts and at the merchant. His heart sank. "I'm going to be a laughing stock," he fretted. "Ananda will never be able to pull these heavy carts. Oh, why did I agree to this foolish plan?" As the yoke was set on Ananda's shoulders and fastened to the cart ropes, Billa's anger rose. "Serves me right," he muttered furiously, "for having listened to the words of a beast." Striding forward, he lifted his whip and brought it crashing down on Ananda's hide. "You stupid creature," he cried. "Go on, pull those carts." Ananda's eyes flew open in shock and pain. Turning his massive head around, he gave Billa a long, measured look. Then, he dug his hooves firmly into the ground. Standing still as a boulder, he stared ahead, while shouts, pleas, and cries rang out on all sides. It was as if he were nailed to the spot. The carts remained where they were, and the crowd's disappointed cries grew louder and louder. A desperate Billa threw himself at the merchant's feet, begging for mercy. "You really have a strong ox, don't you?" smirked the merchant. "Oh yes, the strongest in the land." He laughed till his chins trembled and then said, "Go home, you foolish fellow, and don't make such silly deals again." Miserable and frustrated, Billa pushed through the mocking crowd and raced home. Never would he show his face in town again. And, at that moment, he didn't care if he never saw Ananda again either. That night, a huge head poked through his door. Billa sprang to his feet. "Get away from here," he shouted. "You wretch! You made me agree to your foolish plan, and now everyone is laughing at me." "Why did you hit me and call me names?" demanded Ananda. "Have I ever let you down before? Was this my reward for wanting to make you rich and happy?" Billa wiped the tears of shame from his eyes and suddenly looked sheepish. "You're right," he said sadly. "I shouldn't have treated you like that. You didn't let me down. I let you down." He hugged Ananda's head. "Will you ever forgive me, my friend? I am so sorry." "If you are truly sorry, then do as I say," rumbled the ox. Billa listened closely to Ananda. Thereafter, matters were settled in no time at all. Of course, this involved another trip to town and another unpleasant meeting with the merchant. But Billa merely gritted his teeth and got on with it. A new deal was struck for 3,000 silver pieces this time, and fresh arrangements were made. And so, as the sun rose on a new day, Billa and Ananda made their way back to the town square, where a noisy crowd and 100 laden carts awaited them. "There's that crazy man again with his foolish ox." But as the yoke and the ropes were attached to Ananda, Billa patted his head. "My friend, this is your time," he whispered. "Pull the carts and let these people see your strength." The great ox nodded and, using every ounce of strength in him, pulled. The wheels on the long row of carts jerked out of the earth and began to spin till they were rolling around the square in a smooth, orderly line. The crowd gasped at the magnificent sight and cheered wildly. From that day on, the streets of that town in Benares rang with a special song.
When Ananda was a little calf with legs that swayed and shook, none that saw him would have given more than a passing look. But time went on and he grew and grew to an amazing size. He was huge and strong and brave and so exceptionally wise. When Ananda was a little calf with legs that swayed and shook, none that saw him would have given more than a passing look. He pulled 100 cartloads of gravel, stone and rock, moving just as if he were out on his morning walk. Now Billa's a very rich man, thanks to this noble one, and word will pass forevermore on what this ox has done.
A long time ago, A family of lizards lived in a house. It was a huge family. One day, the baby of the lizard family lost its tail. This is how it happened. Hopping from one place to another, scooting through open drawers and shelves, the baby lizard was having a lot of fun when a little girl came searching for her skipping rope. She opened her drawer, but the rope was not there, so she pushed it shut. Squeal! Wailed the lizard. Chop, slice went the baby lizard's tail, which was caught in the drawer. Ma, he cried and went running to his mother. Look what's happened to my tail. Why, little one, you've lost your tail, said the mother lizard, smiling. Maybe it's time for you to get a new look. The little lizard did not understand his mother. A new look? What did she mean? As he thought about this, he saw a squirrel running up and down the chiku tree. Big and bushy, soft and curved, the squirrel's tail was beautiful. That would be a nice new look to have, the lizard thought to himself. He sped across to the squirrel. The squirrel stopped nibbling the chiku when she saw the little lizard come close to her.
Hey little lizard, what's up with you? Would you like some nuts or a chiku? No dear squirrel, I don't want a chiku. I don't want nuts, no thank you. I seem to have lost my own little tail. Can I buy yours? Is it for sale?
The squirrel was taken aback. Sell her tail? I'm sorry, little lizard, she said. I can't sell my tail. What will I use as a shade in the summer? Do you want me to be cold in the winter? And when those silly monkeys push me off my tree, as they do so very often, if I didn't have my tail, I could get hurt. Life would be very hard without my tail. I am sorry, but you will have to ask someone else. The little lizard thanked the squirrel and went searching for someone else who might have a tail to spare. He saw a cow standing near the house, chewing the cud. Long and thin like a whip, the cow's tail was quite fascinating. That will give me a fantastic new look, thought the little lizard, and raced to the cow. It took a while for the cow to notice the tiny lizard. And when she heard his soft voice, she asked,
Hey little lizard, what brings you here? Would you like some hay? Come, come, come near.
No, oh dear cow, I don't want hay. I don't want milk. I just want to see. I seem to have lost my own little tail. Can I buy yours? Is it for sale?
Oh dear, moaned the cow. I wish I could sell you mine. But these nasty flies bother me all the time, and I need my tail to keep them off my back. said the cow, swishing her tail and whipping the flies off. Oh dear, thought the little lizard. Isn't there anyone who will give me a tail? Just as he thanked the cow and moved away, he saw 3 dogs at the street corner. Surely one of them should be able to sell me a tail, thought the little lizard. He darted towards them and asked,
Hey, black dogs, I've lost my tail. I like your curly ones. Are they for sale?
Listen, strange lizard, hasn't your mother taught you anything? Tails for sale? Indeed! What an idea! Did you lose your mind as well with your tail?
The lizard was sad. Would the cat say the same thing? He wondered as he saw the orange cat stretching on the wall. Hesitantly, he went to the cat and asked if she would sell him her tail. The cat was old and deaf and did not quite hear what the lizard was asking. She thought he was telling her about a shop that had tails for sale. Tails for sale! What fun! I could be a Persian cat, a Siamese, or a Himalayan. Why, I could even be a sphinx if I could just wear a new tail every day. The little lizard sighed. This cat was deaf, and he was too tired to explain it all one more time. Squirrels, cows, dogs, cats, who was left? He decided to try one last time. There was an elephant that stood at the temple gate. The lizard hoped he would be kinder and friendlier, not like the dogs or the silly cat. The temple elephant saw the little lizard approaching out of the corner of his eye and asked him,
Hey little lizard, tell me what brings you here. Would you like to eat some plantains? Come here, dear.
No plantains for me. Why is everyone trying to feed me? All I want is for someone to spare a tail that is new and that I can wear.
Come here, little one. Come near me, the elephant whispered. Sit on my ear and tell me what troubles you. The lizard scurried across the elephant's large body and settled on his ear and told him everything. The elephant laughed. I know you have lost your tail, he boomed. But just imagine yourself with a cow's tail. You would look ridiculous. And just how do you plan to catch mosquitoes and other insects with a squirrel's tail? Or were you planning to change your diet to fruits and nuts? Now, enough of all this nonsense. Go back home to your mother. She will tell you what to do. The lizard thought of what the elephant had told him. It all made sense. He tried to imagine himself with a cow's tail or a dog's tail, and he started to laugh. It was really funny. He laughed and went running to his mother and told her the whole story. "You silly goose, just look behind you and tell me what you see," she said. Turning around, the little lizard saw that his tail was no longer a stump. It had started to grow. "And just watch what happens to it as the days go by," said his mother. Sure enough, by the end of the week, the little lizard's tail was fully grown, just as good as new. He was indeed wearing a new look.
What's up with you? Would you like some nuts or a chicken? No, dear squirrel, I don't want a chicken. I don't want nuts, no thank you. I seem to have lost my own little tail. Can I buy yours? Is it for sale?
Hey little lizard, what brings you here? Would you like some hay? Come, come, come near.
No, oh dear cow, I don't want hay. I don't want milk, I just want to see. I seem to have lost my own little tail. Can I buy yours? Is it for sale? Hey black dogs, I've lost my tail. I like your curly ones. Are they for sale?
Listen, strange lizard, hasn't your mother taught you anything? Tails for sale, indeed. What an idea! Did you lose your mind as well with your tail?
Hey little lizard, tell me what brings you here. Would you like to eat some plantains? Come here, dear.
No, no, no plantains for me. Why is everyone trying to feed me? All I want is for someone to spare a tail.